I built a CIA spy device. Okay, let's see.
To eavesdrop on conversations happening in a room thousands of feet away using a laser?
Using a
Of course you
laser,
could,
okay.
especially if you're a Soviet KGB spy during
It's like 6 minutes
the
long, so we
Cold War
can.
era. Today, I'll be making a laser microphone, a device now used by
Listen,
federal
listen carefully, guys. I'm going to make this and listen.
agencies like the
I'm going to
CIA
surveil
to
you
spy on
guys.
conversations when they don't want to risk planting a microphone inside of a room. A laser microphone can pretty much turn a window into a microphone from a long distance.
Okay, this is how I assume it works. Sound is vibration, right? When you talk, your vocal cords are generating vibrations which travel through the air, and sound travels. And when that vibration in the air hits any surface, there is tiny vibrations on the surface. And listen to me. Listen to me. Okay. This is my genius. Listen to my genius. Okay. So the laser hits the surface, and depending on how much time it takes to travel back, the tiny difference between when the vibration, let's say let's say this is a surface that's vibrating. This is a surface that's vibrating. Okay. It's vibrating. There's a tiny difference in the laser, the distance it's traveling and the time it takes for it to travel back. And based on that, you can reconstruct the vibration and listen in on the conversation. That is my logic in my brain. Let's see if I'm right, or if I'm right.
It works by shining a laser beam at a window or a picture frame inside of a room and capturing the reflection of the beam with a sensor. Any conversations inside the room will send sound waves through the window, causing it to vibrate slightly. These vibrations of the window will modulate the reflected beam of light, and by capturing and processing those oscillations, we can reconstruct the sound waves and hear what's happening inside. Now, for obvious reasons, if you're using this for spying, you'd want to use an invisible infrared laser. But for this video, I'll be using a visible red laser, so just to be clear YouTube, this is not a tutorial on how to spy on people. Though to be honest, I think they'd be more concerned about the explosives. The next thing you'll need is a photodiode. This is basically a mini solar cell that converts light into an electrical signal, except it's much more sensitive and has a faster response time. You can find these inside the receivers of most modern TVs and some smoke detectors, although these are usually designed to detect infrared light, so if you want to spy on people, this is what you want to use. But you can also find them on Amazon. These CommiMark photodiodes will work great for detecting the red laser, plus the name fits the Soviet theme pretty well. Next, you'll need an amplifier circuit to boost the weak signal from the photodiode. The ones I bought came with a built-in microphone, so I had to remove that for the photodiode to take its place. Then I stripped the end off of a charger so I can power the circuit, and I did the same to an aux cable
Youch.
so I can output the signal to a laptop. And after covering everything with some hot glue to prevent
I know
any
he's doing
short
it.
circuits,
He's doing
the
it for the
receiver is
purpose,
pretty
but
much done.
watching wires get
Now
cut
we just need to test
hurts.
it out by plugging it into a laptop.
Good to know.
Okay, so it turns out this isn't even a laptop. It's just a piece of trash that can't seem to handle a mono aux cable.
Yes.
My only other option is my desktop computer, which unfortunately means the device won't be portable enough to spy on any government officials.
Yes.
But the good news is my computer actually recognizes it as a microphone. But can it really pick up sound through a window? To find out, I positioned the laser to reflect off this piece of glass taped to the inside of a box, which will simulate a window. I had to carefully align the laser so its reflection landed precisely on the sensor across the room.
Yeah, that
For
is
this to work,
going to be
the
hard
reflection
actually.
needs to be just off to the side of the photodiode.
The main problem with that would be that the longer the distance between the 2 points, so on one end, if there's like a small deviation, on the other end, that would like magnify. You can notice it on your phone if you like zoom in a lot. But then even if you move your phone a little bit, the image moves a lot. So there's the alignment
That
is
way,
very
when the beam
important.
oscillates, the photodiode receives varying amounts of light. If the beam were perfectly centered on the sensor, it would just keep outputting the same voltage, giving us no useful data. However, if the beam is wider than the sensor itself, it wouldn't really matter as much, since most lasers have a gradient of intensity, so as the beam oscillates, the sensor still detects fluctuations in light levels.
Mhm.
To simulate a voice behind the window, I placed my phone in the box while it played some copyright-free music at full blast.
Thank you for making it copyright free.
And here's what my computer received from the sensor.
I mean, yeah, that's like better quality than expected actually. Imagine you can't spy on your ex because it started raining. But my
As you can hear, the audio is actually distinguishable, but there's still a lot of static in the background. Not only does the window vibrate, but any vibrations of the laser or the receiver will be picked up as well. I can't get rid of the static completely,
Amazing stalker,
but
yes.
instead of using one
Yes. So now you know there's competitive stalking, okay? You have to up your game. Come on.
laser, you could reflect two lasers off the window and capture the reflections on two separate sensors. And by comparing the two different waveforms, you can cut out anything that doesn't match between the two to get rid of some of the noise. But since I'm definitely not doing all that, the best I could do is make the laser and receiver more stable. So I 3D printed this casing for the sensor for it to be easily mounted onto a base or a tripod. To make powering it more convenient, I added this power inlet, and since ambient light can be a problem, I included an
open source models are open source projects like this, or like electronics project like this are so cool. I'll tell you.
Filter, which will block out some ambient light while still letting the laser through. And after all that, it still sounds like crap.
And people who know how to
this device may seem impractical for real surveillance,
do this stuff. People who know how to do this stuff like electronics and programming, feel like they're the coolest people, dude. They can make anything. They can just think of something and make it. I could only write it down in notebooks.
Much larger budget than $30.
Okay, I'm cool. Yes, you are cool.
This technology for surveillance.
You can do this?
Just look at this company. They sell 10 different versions of this thing, and they only sell to government agencies and law enforcement.
I mean, yeah, controlled.
Microphones are actually such a big problem that some high security government buildings are specifically designed to block them. The easiest countermeasure is to just not have confidential conversations near a window.
Or maybe have like double pane windows. So the vibration from the inner window does not travel to the outer window. I guess. Yeah.
But that's not always enough, because similar eavesdropping techniques exist using radio or microwave frequencies to detect sound vibrations from objects deep inside of a building. That's part of the reason some secure rooms or even entire buildings are wrapped in a Faraday cage to block all signals.
Yeah.
However, this form of spying is gradually being phased out as modern surveillance increasingly relies on hacking phones and computers to intercept electronic communications.
Right. So what I wanted to talk about was, this reminds me of an open source project that I was looking at called CinePy. Okay. CinePy is an open source project for building your own cinema camera, dude. It is an open source project. It tells you what parts you need, exactly how to build it. You can build your own cinema camera and make your own like movie quality, cinema quality movies. Like the resolution is 2K or 4K depending on what camera you get, but the bitrate is much higher compared to your phone, and it is at a fraction of a cost compared to like an actual camera. And you get 10-bit color, 12-bit color even, which is good for like color grading. So usually whatever videos you shoot on a phone is 8-bit color. And it's compounding, so 12-bit color is a lot more. I don't know the exact numbers. It's like a really cool project that I can't build on my own because I don't know how to build it.